Carol Burris is a lifelong educator. She was an award-winning principal. Right now, now she works as the executive director for the Network of Public Education.
So I want to start by telling you a little bit about an experience I had a couple of years ago. I went to the state of Arizona, and the reason that I went there was because I was working on a major report for the Network for Public Education on charter schools. And Arizona is the state that has the greatest proportion of kids in charter schools. And while I was there, I met a wonderful superintendent. And he was really struggling because there were so many charter schools coming into his district. It was really starting to have difficulty staying alive fiscally. And he told me about a conversation that he had had recently with an Arizona state legislator. And he knew this legislator loved charters and loved vouchers. So finally, at the end of the conversation, he asked him a very simple question. He said, "Do you see a place at all for public schools?" And his reply was this: "Well, somebody got to take out the garbage." Now, I think about that remark a lot, and I'm not quite sure if he was saying public schools are the place for the children that are garbage, or if he was saying public schools are the place to prepare children to take out the garbage. But both of those possibilities are absolutely horrific. And I suddenly realized there was a serious war going on when it came to public education. Not only its funding, but its very existence itself. The Love Boat. There is a very, very calculated attempt to redefine what public education is. When I think of public schools, I think of three primary characteristics: funded by the public, open to the public. Every child can come in that school. My high school, it didn't matter. They came in September, they came in June 1st. The doors were open, we took care of that child. And the third, and most important perhaps, is governed by the public. Because it's public governance that makes for public accountability. You can never really be accountable if a private board is managing your school. But Betsy and Donald and a lot of other people like them, they want to change that so that they want to have it as it's just about public funding and every kid gets some money in a backpack. Do your best to find a school with the money that we give you. That's what they want, and we see that in their budget. $5 billion tax credit per year for a voucher program. Please, 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 our friend in Washington, fight that. Right? And if you don't, people say, oh, a tax credit, that doesn't sound so bad. It is a scam, and they're doing it all over the nation. It's not charity. You give the money, you get it back. What it is taking your tax dollars and redirecting them to vouchers. A $60 million increase for charter schools. The only increase in the Department of Education budget, right? Already funded at $500 million a year for new charter schools. And then at the same time, a cut of $7.1 billion for real public schools. That's what's being proposed. Now, some of you may not know so much about vouchers and neo-vouchers because we don't have them in New York State, though there was an attempt by Governor Cuomo to get them in. They are not a small thing. 28 states and Washington, D.C. now have at least one or more voucher programs. One of those voucher programs in Washington, D.C., and that'll be up for renewal, and I hope our friends vote no on that one. You're paying for vouchers, folks, with your taxes for the kids in Washington, D.C. And those kids, by the way, when they leave their public schools and go to voucher schools, we know from research they don't do as well. 23 states and Washington, D.C. failed to protect students in their voucher programs from religious discrimination. And that goes well beyond into other areas of discrimination. For example, there's a voucher school in Indiana that will not allow the child of a gay parent to enter the school. And in Pennsylvania, if you're gay, you can't be a teacher in some of the private schools, and it's perfectly legal. Right now, there are 21 bills in state houses, most of them pushed by ALEC, that would establish or expand a voucher program. And it goes right into blue states, my friends. There's one in Connecticut, and there's one in California. But vouchers, of course, are not the only problem. Charter schools. All of the teacher strikes that we had this year and teacher walkouts, what was one of the demands they always had, right? No more charter schools. Why? Because they realize how charter schools are draining funding from the neighborhood public schools. It's a serious problem. And what we find is because of governance that is not public governance, there is an incredible amount of fraud and waste. One of the things we do at the Network for Public Education is we search for articles about fraud and waste and problems in charter schools. And we called it Another Day, Another Charter School Scandal. Now I thought maybe we'll find one a week. Now we're finding more than one a day. In the last 30 days, and I looked yesterday, it's probably higher now, we found 44 news reported cases of problems in charter schools, gross mismanagement, people stealing funds, all kinds of horrible things going on. We're gonna have to change it to Another Minute, Another Charter School Scandal soon. So, in closing, coming soon, we are going to be issuing a major report. It's going to rock your world, based on a 2-month investigation of the Department of Education's charter school program. We're going to demonstrate how schools that don't even exist got money, schools that existed and then closed got money, schools that discriminate against children get money, schools that have been involved in fraud have gotten money. So please, be on the lookout for that. It's going to be released on March 25th.